What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Simple Sports Sub, man, where we talk all things Washington Commanders football. And yes, this is not directly um, pointed to our Washington Commanders, but this is one of the ones that I definitely got to talk about. Simply because this is a guy that I wanted us to go after and try our best to bring into the organization. I did have just like a smidge of hope that this was a sign and trade. But before I even get into it, man, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all like this video and make sure y'all drop me a comment, man. Now that I don't know if he was the number one on y'all list as far as off-season acquisitions, but he was number one on mine. Now that he has signed an extension, Myles Garrett is staying with the Cleveland Browns, and it looks like, based off these numbers that I'm looking at, that money talking bullshit walk, guys. Myles Garrett has reached an agreement today on a record contract extension that averages 40 mil per year and includes 123.5 million in guaranteed money, and now makes him the highest paid non QB in NFL history. Um, hey, this is a big time, man. This is a big time extension. To be making more money than a QB. Uh, this is like, I mean, outside of a QB, this is a history made today. But what does this say about everything that Myles Garrett kind of hinted towards us? Was it all about, at the end of the day, about the money? Was it about the dollars? Did he just truly want an extension and wanted to finish his career in Cleveland? And it was crazy because I just had to talk with my guy about, man, you don't see too many superstars finish with their current team in the NFL, man. It's like they may get that big time contract or even that second contract, and then it's just like ain't nothing else. Like it's like they go off somewhere else and finish their career because they want to contend for a championship, especially if they haven't won one, right? But Myles Garrett, man, is staying with the Cleveland Browns. He has gotten that payday, and from the looks of it, I don't see too many teams sign trading for a $40 million guy. With so many other holes like ourselves, we got so many other positions that we need to actually bring fill with the money that we do have remaining after releasing Jonathan Allen. Again, maybe we don't know if AP was working behind the scenes to try to bring this guy to Washington. We might see some reports in the later weeks or so, maybe after free agency start. We may see a couple reports come out there. Not saying that all of them going to be reliable, but I mean, y'all got who y'all got to, and hopefully I can be that person that y'all could come and get, reliable information from. But yeah, man, now where do we go from here? Now where do we go from here as far as trying to get an edge rushers? I know a lot of people are talking about Trey Hendrickson being a suitable person, but again, seeing this type of money right here, 40 mil guaranteed with 123.5. I mean 40 mil a year with 123.5 guaranteed. What what does a Trey Hendrickson can what kind of contract? Because he wants an extension. Will he want to get paid his money? What does that look like for the next team or the team that trades for him? And what kind of draft capital comes with that? I mean, because even again, I feel as though even if we did trade for Myles Garrett, which I was like, man, 40 mil, man, could this be a sign and trade type of deal? Um, but at 40 mil, do we take on 40 mil and deplete most of our cap space with all the other holes that we need, um, and still give up top tier draft capital? Only way I can see that happening is if the Cleveland Browns decide to take on half of that money or most of that money that they just signed him to, which is why I don't see it happening. I don't see a sign and trade happening to Washington. Just don't see it. I'll be totally shocked if it does. Um, I'll be happy, of course, because that was my number one guy. But again, now who's next, right? Another sign and trade, or do we give up the draft capital? What kind of number is Trey Hendrickson, who was the leading sack leader for the last 2 years, I think, or at least last year? What kind of number does he get? He's also 30 years old. Like, I hear rumblings around the league, 25 to 30 mil a year, or 24 to 30 mil a year. Um, are we willing to pay that? Are we willing to give up 30 mil against the cap space this year to bring in to trade and also draft capital? Is it a second round? Is it a third round? Do we give up a next year's second round to get Trey Hendrickson? What is the Bengals really looking for? I believe AP and and whatever he decides to do, whether it's we not going to take any of those chances because we want to build our team through the draft, and we'll probably sign a free agency. We like some guys in the free agency, and there's some guys that I like. There's some guys that I like. Yes, Myles Garrett was my number one guy. Trey Hendrickson was number two, of course. But like I said, I just tweeted out my guys, the guys that I would like us to go after. Again, Marcus Davenport, a Z, Ozzy, I think Olajawari from the New York Giants, Georgia Bulldog, of course. That is a guy that I would like. Josh Sweat, could he be a guy? I know the whole man. We don't want to bring in no Eagles players, but guess what? He did good against the run game, and he was able to get back to the quarterback. I think he had about 8.5 or 10 sacks this season. And I may be wrong about that. I'm not 100% on how many sacks he had. Looking at a guy like Josh Sweat, looking at a guy like Marcus Davenport. So there are some guys out there in the free agency. I know a lot of people in the Commanders community and fan base and front office despises a guy named Chase Young. But again, AP traded. AP was a part of that. I mean, we don't know if he was the true willing and dealing. He was the only one willing and dealing about that. It was John Lynch. It had to be between John Lynch and AP, but they all had to come together and agree on that type of deal to trade a third round pick for Chase Young. Do you bring him back in? Do you think that he's learned and developed enough to where he can? Don't get me wrong. When Chase Young was here, he did pretty well in stopping the run. He did pretty well at setting the edge. Now, yes, did he get out of his gap? Did he get out of his lanes a lot? Which we've seen from Dante Fowler sometimes from a run perspective. Yeah, but I think Chase Young did good, and you probably don't have to pay a top dollar for him. He's not going to command a top dollar. But those are just some of the guys that we can go after now. I'm curious to see how how AP continues to work this. And then you also got the draft, which that video is dropping today or tomorrow. I'm working on it now to drop my first mock draft. I'm still debating on if I really want to release it or do I want to wait until after the free agency to do my first mock draft, just to kind of shape out what our team is really going to look like. And is there guys that, are we going to fill positions that I might think that we are going to, draft come draft day? So again, I don't know how I want to do it. And I'm leaning more towards waiting until after free agency is done. And then I might do my first ever mock draft on the channel, might, show who I'm interested in. Show some of the players that I would like, some of the players I know that we ain't gonna get, due to I think them going to be there. Those guys gonna be gone early. I do see some guys that might fall in this draft to our pick, but then again, I'm just a strong suit of us trading back. But again, we're gonna save draft for another video. But yes, man, Myles Garrett is staying in Cleveland. He has gotten a monstrous deal, man. Tell me what you guys think, man. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment, man. Who are your top guys? If y'all want to drop a comment, man, drop your top 5 pass rushers that you would like us to go after. Let me know who that is, and we can talk about it in the comments. But until then, hey, man, Monday starts, early agreement. Free agents can verbally agree to teams, so y'all be on the lookout for that. And be looking out for me to be dropping some videos and that. Until the next one, raise hell. I'll catch y'all on the next one, baby. I'm out.